All right, let's get into it. Have you ever really stopped to think about what happens when you open an application? I mean, how does a window or a button or even your cursor physically show up on your screen? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and look at the hidden blueprint that makes all of that possible.
You know, behind every single pixel is this incredibly complex system, basically a set of rules that ops have to follow just to draw themselves. For decades, the world of Linux and similar systems has been dominated by two main blueprints for how to do this, and we're about to explore both of them.
It seems so simple, right? You click an icon and boom, a window appears. But the how of it? Oh, that's a fascinating story. It's really a tale of two completely different philosophies, a story of bureaucracy versus efficiency, and it all starts with the old way of doing things. So first up is the classic, the long-standing architecture known as X11. And to understand how it works, you don't need to look at any code, I promise. We just need to think about, well, construction. I want you to picture X11 as this very old-school, by-the-book general contractor. You know the type. He insists that every single request, no matter how tiny, has to go through him. He's the ultimate middleman, and on his job site, nobody talks directly to each other. Everything goes through him.
So just look at this process. You, the application or the homeowner in our story, you just want to paint a wall blue. Simple, right? Well, you can't. You have to tell your contractor, the X server. He then has to call the architect, which is the window manager, to get approval. The architect says, okay, but you got to add a frame around it. Only then does the contractor finally go and tell the painter to start working. It's this long, indirect chain of command for every little thing.
And here's the crucial point. With X11, your application isn't actually doing the drawing. It's just making requests, kind of like filling out paperwork. The general contractor, the X server, is the one running around like crazy, coordinating everything. And you can just imagine all the back and forth communication and overhead that creates.
So all of that bureaucracy led developers to ask, what if there's a better way? And that brings us to the new blueprint, Wayland. It's designed from the ground up to be modern, direct, and just plain efficient. So instead of that fussy contractor, picture Wayland as building a modern, prefabricated home. Where all the complex work is done ahead of time, off-site in a factory, and then it's just delivered completely ready to go. I mean, just look at the difference. It is night and day. In the Wayland model, you, the application or the factory, you do all the work yourself. You build the wall, you paint it blue, you install the window, it's completely finished. Then you just ship that finished product over to the site manager or compositor, whose only job is to take your finished piece and just crane it into place. We go from a 4-step mess to 2 simple steps. It's direct, it's simple, and it's incredibly efficient.
And this right here is the fundamental shift. With Wayland, the application itself is empowered to do the rendering. The manager or compositor isn't a middleman anymore. It's just there to organize the final placement of these already finished windows. No more bureaucracy. It's just gone.
Okay, that whole construction analogy is a great start. But to really lock this concept in for you, let's just quickly look at it through a couple of other examples.
So think about logistics. The X11 way is like sending a package to a huge central hub 50 miles away, just to have it sent all the way back to be delivered to your neighbor next door. The Wayland way? You just give it to a courier who walks it directly across the street. Done. Or how about a restaurant? X11 is a waiter running back and forth to the kitchen manager for every single part of your order. Wayland is you going down the line at a burrito shop, building it exactly how you want, and just handing over a finished product. See the pattern? It's always indirect versus direct.
Okay, so we've covered contractors, couriers, and burritos. But if you remember just one thing from this whole explainer, let it be this core difference.
This is it. This is the whole thing in a nutshell. X11 is like hiring a contractor who has to call 3 different people just to get approval to hang a single picture. Wayland is you painting that picture yourself and just handing it to the guy whose only job is to put it up on the wall. Simple, powerful, and a whole lot more efficient.
So the next time a window pops up on your screen, you'll know the hidden story behind it. And it kind of leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it? This shift from a complex, chatty middleman to a direct, empowered system, well, that's not just about display servers. Where else are we seeing this philosophy change the way we build technology? It's a fascinating question to think about.